Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Sunday Spirit. Today we will be sampling Eagle Rare 10. So let me open this up, and then I think there's a couple things to read on the bottle. Oh, come on. And we will get into it. So yeah. Clara, go away. So yeah. Eagle Rare, aged 10 years, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume. Yeah. Picked this up yesterday. There's a liquor store that gets, there's one liquor store in particular that usually gets a shipment of like all the Buffalo Trace distillery things, and like they had Blanton's, they had Buffalo Trace, they had a few other things. They had this. I'm not sure if some of the other things are from Buffalo Trace Distillery, but they had a few like kind of sought after things. I only got this because I can't spend all my money on liquor, alcohol in general. So Eagle Rare, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the cornerstones of the birth of a nation, epitomized by the American bald eagle. That nation has come to represent the freedom, spirit, and independence of the individual, giving the world products and innovations that are uniquely its own. False, but whatever. One such innovation was Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Early Kentucky settlers created bourbon, the true American spirit, in the late 1700s. By practice and protected by law, no other distilled spirit adheres to standards as strict as those established for Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and few other whiskeys can offer even a glimpse of the great whiskey making found in Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare 10-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey has a sweet oaky nose and full, complex body reminiscent of a fine port wine. This rare whiskey is best served neat or over ice. Of course, feel free to drink Eagle Rare in such classic cocktails as the Manhattan or Whiskey Sour. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Frankfort, Connecticut. 45% alcohol by volume. I said that. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't agree with all the things that are on the back of that, but you know, you gotta keep up the facade to make you feel better about yourself, because everything is terrible. Yeah, so that's like a dark amber color, coppery amber-ish. Looks good. Let's see what it smells like. Ooh. Vanilla. Maybe caramel. Cause I'm getting vanilla specifically, but there's something in that vanilla that's like brown sugar-ish. So there's a little bit of citrus floating around in here. Man. I cannot think of the word for the thing that I am smelling, which is not new. Well, there is an oakiness. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, but there's like a Maybe it's like a subtle charriness. I don't know. It smells good. Smells pretty good. This bottle was $70, I think. I don't know if that's a good price. It was like one of the cheaper ones that was there, so that's one of the reasons why I got it. But also I don't see this as much as some of the other bottles that were there, so that's also why I got this. So yeah, let's give it a swirly and then get into it. Cheers. Ooh. This kind of tastes like an old-fashioned, without the bitters or the sweetener, whatever you use for sweetener. I like to use maple syrup just because it's easier. But yeah, it's got the orangey, the little oily, little bit, but it's got that orange, yeah, I guess it would be orange oil, the stuff you like spritz on it. But there's a little bit of like zest and peel kind of thing to it as well. And then it has the bourbon part of the old fashioned. Yeah, I think that thing that I was getting in the nose is like a subtle charriness, because it's a little bigger in the taste, but it's still subtle, and I'm pretty sure it's a charriness. But you're getting your vanilla, getting a little bit of that brown sugar thing, or caramel. I'm not sure how I want to arrange those, but it's a combination of kind of all those things. A little bit of like a soft leather. And maybe there's something that's kind of touching on kind of like that Band-Aid-y thing that I get in smoked beers and like smoky things. There's a little bit touching on that. I think this is good. Yeah, some sips I get a little more alcohol than others, but it's bourbon, so you know it's gonna taste like alcohol a little bit. I do get warming in here though. It's nice and warm. I just had to put on a bunch of layers and go outside because it's windy and it's cold outside. And then I came inside, took off my layers, and did this. So I'm still a little overheated, kind of. But yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned oakiness in the taste, but oakiness is the thing. Sometimes I forget to I mean, I guess sometimes with certain things it's not as obvious, but sometimes I forget when I'm tasting something. Sometimes I forget to mention the more obvious things. So what did this say? Has a sweet oaky nose and full complex body, reminiscent of a fine port wine. Ooh, the finish has this little bit of like citrus pith thing to it. I like this. This is good. I don't know if it's my favorite, but like, you know, I can't remember anything, so who knows? Maybe it is my favorite. Yeah, so thanks for hanging out. Hope you're doing well. Taking care of yourself, taking care of each other. You can like this video if you'd like to. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at 93lumber. That's spelled out 93lumber. We will see you in the next one. Cheers.